So as I said, we are going to focus first on the basics of production integration. What are the standard methodologies which SAP has provided to manage our production process in a warehouse, and then we will also look into a system demo on the synchronous goods movement posting. Right. So that will be a short and quick agenda for today. Right. So before we actually go into the different methodologies which SAP has provided for production integration, let us first try to have a quick overview. Okay, like how a production process works in any of the warehouse, right? So in this pictorial view, you can see that this is a production line, okay, basically, right? And here in this production line, the users or the manufacturers, they are going to produce the goods. They are going to receive the handling units, or they are going to receive the finished goods, okay, produce the finished goods. And then once the finished goods are produced, they will be moved to the put away area in the warehouse. Put away area in the sense a rack or whatever it can be, right? So that will be a final put away area. So this is the good receipt part of a production. But to produce any goods, right? To produce any finished goods, obviously we will need some raw materials, right? Or some components, right? So that part is also important when it comes to a production. So staging part basically. So from here, so this is a source, right? So it's a raw material basically, right? So raw material will be then supplied from a source to the production area. So that area is nothing but we call it as the production supply area, where we actually receive the components which are used to produce the finished goods, right? So those will be supplied from the source, and then those components will be consumed, and after those consumption we will be producing the finished goods. So that's the high level overview of the production process, how it works in any of the warehouses, simple warehouses, right? So that is how it works, right? Then moving ahead. Okay, so yeah, so as I said, like there are multiple ways, okay, SAP has provided to integrate this manufacturing process or to integrate this production process with SAP EWM, right? So one of the most important methodology or most commonly used methodology for the production integration is advanced production integration process. Okay, now what is advanced production integration process? Most of you may be already aware of it, but the people who don't know what is advanced production integration, let's have a quick overview of this, right? So that you have a better understanding when we go ahead in a system demo, right? So what is advanced production integration? Okay, so with this particular production process, right, we initiate the staging methods, okay, for the source for the components, right? But there is a methodology which is called as the this PMR, product material request, right? So it is based on the PMR. It's a PMR based approach, basically, right? The advanced production integration. So as it's mentioned over here, with the advanced production integration, ERP side has no delivery documents, and all the steps between the initial request for the material staging and the completion of manufacturing order are controlled in EWM. So let me show you a picture. It will be more clearer. Then we go into the theory part, right? So what happens in advanced production integration, basically, right? So you see this particular flow diagram. Okay, so here you can see that there is one swim lane, okay, where it is mentioned as the production. So basically, this is our ERP system or a S4 system where a product.
Hi, Amit. Sorry to interrupt. Can you
Yeah,
zoom a bit this figure so that it can be
okay,
easily
sure.
visible? Yeah.
Let me do like this then. Is it better now?
Yes, we can. It's at least a little better. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So here we can see that The first swim lane, so this is called as the production, meaning here we are actually going to create the production order, right? So it's basically our S4 system or a ERP system, right? Then here, this is a staging and consumption, right? So here, how a staging is going to happen, that is explained. And in the last, we have a block for the receiving of the finished goods, right? So how it works in advanced production integration method, a production order is created in S4, right? And after we create the production order, it needs to be released. And the moment it is released, in the background, it will generate the PMR, that is a staging request, basically. So production order will be having a list of components, right, which is needed to produce the finished goods. So after you release the production order, it releases, it creates the PMR, that is, it creates the material staging request, right? So that PMR is created and it is available in the EWM system. It is distributed in the EWM system. And using this PMR, we can then, or users can then create the staging of the components, staging of the material. Now, there are a lot of different ways of staging also. So we will not go into the details. Like we have a single order staging, we have a cross order staging, and all those different processes we have, right? So depending on a scenario, we can either choose a single order staging or a cross order staging, and based on that, a staging will be performed, right? And once the staging is performed, the stock will be available in the PSA, that is in the production supply area, right? And then once the products are available in your supply area, right, what they will do operationally, they will consume it, right? The users will consume it. So that consumption should also happen in the system, right? So that consumption will happen in a system, and it will then post the goods issue, right? So the stock of the raw material basically should get reduced, right, in both EWM and in S4 system. So that is what is going to happen here. So you can see that consume material used by production. So it will reduce the stock in EWM. Parallelly, it will also reduce the stock in the S4 system, right? So this is the staging method. So here you see it's very easy, it's very convenient. There are no documents getting created, right? It's just after the release of the production order, system just sends the staging message to EWM, and based on that, staging is done, consumption is done, right? So one part of the process is done, but it doesn't end here, right? We have consumption is done, but we also need to receive the finished goods, right? So how the finished goods are received, right? So that is what is mentioned over here. So there are again, there are maybe a multiple ways of receiving the goods, okay, in a warehouse, but the most commonly used method is like we receive the handling units, okay, from the product. So we generate a handling unit, and that handling unit generation in the background will create an inbound delivery, which will be specifically for the EWM. And using that, we will do the PGR, that is a post good receipts. So the moment PGR happens, okay, in EWM, it distributes the information to ERP, and in ERP also a material document will be posted, right? Because the stock needs to be in sync in both the systems. So 101 moment type will be posted in the ERP system, right? But does process ends here? No, right? Because we have just produced the goods and our pallets are lying in the GR prod area, meaning in your production area. It's still not moved to your final destination, right? So to move the goods to your final destination, you need to again create a task. You see here, this task is getting created to move the stock to your final bin, right? So that is one more step. After you actually do the GR, you will have to actually create a task to move the handling unit to the final put away bin, right? So this is the last step when it comes to EWM. But in ERP, you still will have to perform few steps, right? From manufacturing point of view, from production point of view, you will have to complete your production order, right? So there is a concept called as TECO. You will do a technical completion, and after that, you will do a settlement and all those stuff you will do in the ERP. Now, why it is important? Why I have kept those steps over here? The reason is the PMR, okay, which is distributed to EWM, remains open till the time we complete the manufacturing order. So if the PMR is open, then someone can do a staging one more time using a same PMR. If the goods are needed, they can consume more goods for the production order. right? If the PMR is open. So if we don't want, if we want system to stop that, then for that the status of PMR should also get completed. But we cannot manually complete the PMR status. For that, information should come from ERP system, right? So in ERP, the moment you complete your manufacturing order, it will send an information to EWM, and in EWM, the status will get completed as close. I mean, the PMR will get closed basically, right? So this here the flow will get completed. Yeah. So that is the high level overview of advanced production integration. Okay. Now, just again to give some more idea, right? Like how you, in which kind of industry, okay, this kind of advanced production integration is suitable, and in how you can propose it to your clients. Like, okay, this particular method is suitable for you, right? So for that, you need to think, you need to have some questionnaires ready. Okay, you need to ask the scenarios, you need to ask the business process, and based on that, we decide, right? What are those industries, okay, where I would recommend the advanced production integration, especially, okay, this kind of uh, advanced production integration processes are used in discrete manufacturing industries. Now, what is discrete manufacturing? Okay, so just again to give a high level overview, because every manufacturing company has some process, okay, in a manufacturing. They may have a discrete manufacturing, they may have a repetitive manufacturing, right? So depending on their manufacturing processes, we can recommend them like which will be a best suited production integration methodology for them. So, what is discrete manufacturing? Discrete manufacturing is about the manufacture of a product based on production order, and it is characterized by requirements that do not occur on a regular basis. So, for example, okay, if you are producing, so I have also explained it with an example. Let's say there is a FMCG industry, okay, and they have a production line to produce the chocolates, for example, right? Chocolate muffins, right? So this kind of production line, will it be a permanent production line? No, right? Because the demands will change. Now we have received an order of dark chocolate muffins, for example, right? But after a few days, we will receive an order of chocolate muffins of maybe a white chocolate muffins, right? So your requirements are changing. It's not fixed, okay? It's not repetitive, right? That kind of industry is called as the discrete manufacturing, where your demand changes. It's not always the demand occurs, the same demand occurs on a regular basis. No, it is not like that. Okay, so here also it's mentioned like the discrete manufacturing scenario can be used in different variants. Okay, so depending on your lot size, so especially the make to order scenarios, right? So depending on what order you are receiving, based on that you will build your production lines, right? So if we have this make to order scenario, if we have a industry where your finished goods are not fixed, right? So in those kind of scenarios or in those kind of industries, I would recommend to go with the advanced production integration, right? Now, why I am recommending this, that you will understand it when we go and understand the next methodology which SAP has provided, right? Which is a delivery based production integration. We will see that, and then you will able to compare the both, and then you can easily recommend it to your customers. Okay, so yeah. um okay, so I any questions or anything we want you want to clarify till now, or I can proceed? I hope it is quite straightforward, what is advanced production integration and all that.
Yeah, Amit,
Yes.
for this production integration, HU creation is mandatory.
No, HU creation is not mandatory. It depends on our requirement, whether we want to receive the goods in a handling unit or not. If we want to receive it in a handling unit, then we generate handling unit. If we don't want, then we can straight away go and create the inbound delivery manually, and we do the PGR.
But can I integrate with POSC, my production integration?
You mean the good receipt part, the
Yeah,
receiving
yeah.
of the. So once you have manufactured your goods, right? So your pallets will be available. okay, if you have a handling units, your pallets will be available in your production area. Then when you move your pallets from production area to a final put away area, at that point of time, you can make use of POSC, right? And you will need the handling unit for it if you really want to go with the POSC.
Yeah, in that case,
Maybe
HE creation is mandatory, right?
Yes. Yes.
maybe we can park the questions at the later note to break
Okay.
the
Okay.
flow.
Okay.
Yeah, we will get
Okay.
sufficient time to have the questionnaires. Yeah, thanks.
Sure. Sure. Okay, thank you, Nitin. So let me move ahead. Let's discuss another methodology which SAP has provided for the production integration, which is called as the delivery-based production integration process. Okay, so what is delivery-based? As the name suggests, right? So here, deliveries will be created between the two systems, okay, for the communication purpose. Okay, so before I go into this bullet points, let me show you a picture. This will give you a more clarity, right? So here we have a ERP system and we have a EWM system, right? So here also you can see that the process starts, okay, in the ERP by creating a manufacturing order and releasing the manufacturing order, right? And once the manufacturing order is released, okay, here you can see that outbound delivery is getting created in S4 system, and then this outbound delivery is getting distributed to EWM system, right? So here you see one document is now getting created, okay, in the ERP, and it is getting distributed to EWM, right? And using this document in EWM, the stock will be moved, meaning a staging will be initiated. So the stager creates the warehouse task for the staging, and the products will be available in the PSA, right? And once the products are available in PSA, okay, it again sends the information back to ERP. Then the in ERP confirmation is posted, and the goods issue is also posted, right? But now this goods issue, you see it is posted in ERP, but what about EWM? In EWM also we need to post the consumption, right? Because the stock is lying in your PSA. So the consumption should also happen in EWM. So how that consumption will happen? Again, you see over here, after the manufacturing order is confirmed, it is creating the outbound delivery. So the goods issue is getting posted, and it is in turn creating the outbound delivery. And that outbound delivery is again distributed to EWM, and then this outbound delivery will needs to be goods issued, right? And then again, information will be flowing back and forth. So here you can see that in this delivery-based integration, multiple documents are getting created, okay, between the two systems, right? So that is the difference. Now, let me go back to the bullet points. Let's try to understand what in details about the delivery-based production integration, okay? So what it says over here, for the delivery-based production integration scenario, more information flows, okay, between ERP and the EWM system, right? That's what I said. Several deliveries can be created, right? And most of the steps are triggered from ERP. So a lot of deliveries are getting created between the two systems, right? And integration is based on the delivery documents, which is different than the advanced production integration. Advanced production integration was much simpler. There was no deliveries which were getting created. Everything was happening automatically without having the delivery replications between the two systems, right? Then here production creates the manufacturing orders and sends them to EWM. Then EWM creates the outbound deliveries. Or yeah, so this is all we saw in the picture, the pictorial view, right? Then you create the warehouse task for the outbound delivery orders and the posting change. Then the production enters the confirmation of an order. The system creates the consumption posting delivery in EWM. So yeah, so it will again, after the production order is confirmed, it will create again a consumption posting delivery in EWM. And in EWM, that delivery again needs to be PGI'd, right? So you see here, now you can understand a difference. What is the difference between the advanced production integration and the delivery based production integration, right? So in which scenario or in which industry you can recommend the delivery based integration process? Okay, so most of the times, okay, advanced production integration will suffice the requirements. But there are some industries, okay, which they do a planning, or they do all this the staging of the material, consumption of the material, good receipt of the materials, and the production settlement, everything is done at the planned order level. Because in case of repetitive manufacturing, for example, okay, so when to use this approach? So this kind of approach is used in case of repetitive manufacturing. Now, advanced production integration, we saw a concept of discrete manufacturing, right? Now, what is repetitive manufacturing? Okay, so repetitive manufacturing means what? Like, repetitive manufacturing is a period-based production and not an order or lot-based, right? So I don't really care, okay, what is my order size or what is my lot size, right? That's what I said. The repetitive manufacturing can be initiated by just having a planned order in place. I don't even need my production order, so it's not a make-to-order scenario kind of stuff, right? So here, if I have a planned order, in a planned order, I can give a date range that, okay, from 1st of January 2025 to 1st of January 2027, this is my planned order, which is open. And against this planned order, I need to produce so-and-so material, right? So it's a repetitive. I'm not going to change my production line at all. Okay, my production line is going to be the same. So there is no operate manufacturing or discrete manufacturing. It's a repetitive. The same product is going to be produced for a certain time frame, right? So that is called as the repetitive manufacturing. The same product will be manufactured over a specific period of time, and they might not change frequently. Okay, the product is processed at a constant flow. Okay, and interim products are not stocked. Order confirmation is done. Yeah, so I mean, that's what just I explained. So that is the concept of the repetitive manufacturing. So in case of repetitive manufacturing, we can suggest this delivery based integration, because here even let's say, even if the deliveries are getting created, it will not be frequently created, right? Because we just have one planned order. We are not going to create multiple production orders also. It will be just one planned order, and since it is a one planned order, so I will not have many deliveries also. I can have only one delivery or two delivery down the line, right? So we can recommend that delivery based production process in case of repetitive manufacturing. So what are an examples of repetitive manufacturing, right? So for example, let's say in the automotive industry, right? So we know, for example, Maruti, right? So in Maruti, we know that the Maruti Alto or Maruti Wagoner, right? So these are the variants which are getting produced since years, and still they are in the market, right? So for these kind of variants, they have a fixed production line. Those production line doesn't change at all, right? Because it's ongoing product, and nobody is expecting any change in that, right? So those kind of variants, if we have, then that is called then they use this basically repetitive manufacturing methodology without having a production order. And for that, we can recommend a delivery based production integration process, okay, for those kind of scenarios, right? So that is a high level difference, okay, between the advanced production integration, that is API, which is based on PMR, and outbound delivery based production integration, right? So here what we have tried to do is, so I have explained a theoretical part, what is advanced production integration, what is delivery based production integration, discrete manufacturing, repetitive manufacturing, all those stuff, right? But we have just tried to simplify the things. So here in this particular picture, what we are trying to do is, we are just trying to highlight like which process or which functionality is available in API based and which is available in delivery based, or which is not available in delivery based, and all that, right? So for example, where exact quantity need to be staged in the production order, right? So we can do this, we can achieve this functionality in both the OBD and the API based methods, right? Because here in API based, we will have a PMRs. So that PMR, if it is a single order staging, then we will only stage those particular components which are part of PMR, right? And in case of outbound delivery, if it is a outbound delivery based, then obviously the quantity for which the outbound delivery is created, we have to stage the components according to that, right? So that's why it's activated in both the blocks. right? Then there are a lot of things. We will not go will not go through all the points in details. Otherwise, it will take a lot of time. But the important ones, right? So this was the important part. Then another important part over here is backflushing of the component, right? So you see the backflush component consumption. Now, what do you mean by backflush? So backflush means like if your stock is already available in PSA, right? Then the moment I confirm my production order, that particular component or a raw material should get consumed automatically. I should not go into a system and do a manual consumption because it's an extra step for me, right? It's not needed, right? Because operationally you think, right, you have lot of let's say you are in a production line, you are a machine operator and you are consuming a lot of components. For example, let's say a lubricant, right? A lubricant is there which you are consuming continuously. So you will not like to manually go and consume like that, okay, I have consumed 1 liter, 2 liter or something like that. No, right? Because that will add lot of efforts. So you will like system to automatically backflush whatever you have consumed, right? So your production order will have that, okay, for my operation number 10, I will need 10 liters of lubricant. So the moment you confirm your operation number 10, a backflushing should happen in the background, right? So that is what I mean by the backflush. So here a backflushing can be easily achieved if it is the delivery-based integration. For API-based integration, also we can have a backflush, but you can see here not possible with PMR. But we can achieve this, but for that, we'll have to create a delivery. So the moment I confirm my production order, it will create a delivery only. It will create a delivery and that delivery go to EWM and we can auto PGI that delivery. That is the secondary part. But what we are trying to say over here is with PMR, we will not able to achieve this, the automatic backflushing of the component. Right, then yeah, I think that's it. Let's not go into the details of it. The most important was the backflushing and the quantity, how we can stage between the two systems, right? So here also again there are a few more important points. I think this PowerPoint will be available later, then you can go through it in details. Okay, fine. Then let's try to understand one more process, okay, which is also very important and it is widely used in many of the industries, right? So this is called as the Kanban based approach. So Kanban is used basically to stage the materials, okay, from your source to your PSA, right? And just to give you a high level overview, so this picture is very clear enough, right? So here you see there are two blocks. This is a demand source and this is the supply source. So this is our manufacturing line. Okay, so here you see that these are the containers, right? So assume like this is a drum basically. Yeah, your drum is full of some lubricants, right? So you are consuming the goods from here, but let's say this becomes empty, right? So you see here it becomes empty. So if we have a Kanban based approach, then what will happen? The moment your container, okay, becomes empty, it will trigger automatically a requirement that, okay, this needs to be replenished. Okay, so it will create a Kanban ticket, okay, or a kind of a warehouse task to the supply source, right? So the supply source will receive this requirement, and here what they will do, they will supply it. Okay, so you see this truck is coming, and then this truck will go and make this empty bin again a full bin, right? So this is a Kanban based approach. The staging is happening based on Kanban. So it's automated, right? So the moment my container becomes empty, it triggers a requirement, and then the supply source will send that information to the demand source, right? So this is also one of the important process which is used in many of the industries. Now, as I gave a scenario, right? Consider this is a machine where a supplier, or sorry, your machine operator is using some consumables, right? Or maybe very easy example is lubricants. Yeah, this drum is full of lubricants which is needed to produce your finished goods. So for this kind of materials, right, the consumables, you will not like any manual intervention. So that's for those kind of things you will activate the Kanban based approach. So the moment it becomes empty, it triggers an information to the supply source. Supply source will receive it and it will send the information it will send the stock to the demand source. Yeah, so that is the concept of Kanban. process. Now coming to system. So in system, how does it work? Right, in system, you see the Kanban is set to empty. Okay, so after my container is empty, what will happen? Okay, as I said, it will trigger an requirement. A warehouse task will be created in the EWM system, right? So using that warehouse task, a stock will be moved to my production supply area, right? And then once the stock is available in the production supply area, then I will do the goods issue posting. So this goods issue posting will come over here, meaning so the stock is issued from the supply source, right? Then the stock is issued from the supply source, and the stock will be received in the demand source, right? So here in the demand source, once the stock is received, the Kanban will set to full, right? So these are the two different locations. Just try to visualize a scenario. So this is your production supply area, and this is your warehouse. Basically, consider this is your production area, and this is your warehouse. So from warehouse, you're picking the stock and you are moving it to your PSA. And once the stock is available in your PSA, the Kanban will again become full, right? Then your machine operator will start consuming it from here. Then again, when it becomes empty, it will trigger an information to EWM. Then the cycle keeps on repeating, right? So that is the concept of Kanban-based staging, right? So we also use this process widely in many of the industries. Yeah. So that was about the different methods, right? So we saw the advanced production integration. We saw the delivery-based production integration. We also saw a concept of Kanban-based staging method, right? Now let's try to understand some other ways, okay, of handling the production integration with EWM. So for example, okay, so the good receipt posting and the goods issue posting by other components. So by other components, what I mean is, so here in this flow diagram, you can see that everything is getting triggered, okay, the moment I confirm my production order. So before confirming my production order, nothing is happening. In all our previous processes, right, we saw that we are creating a production order, we are releasing the production order, and then the process is getting triggered, and so on and so forth. But in this case, meaning the triggered by other components, means what? My process, my EWM integration will only start when I confirm my production order, right? So here, okay, so this is the process flow, which was, which is available now also, but it was introduced in 1909, right? And there are some improvements also happened after this, so we'll look into that. But let's try to understand this basic flow first, okay? So what happens in this case when the goods issue and good receipts are triggered by other components, meaning after I confirm my production order, right? So here you see, after I confirm my production order, what it is doing basically, right? It is doing two things. The first is it is creating the outbound delivery for the components, okay? Because my production order will definitely need some raw material, right? So for that, I need to supply it to my source, right? To my PSA. So for that, outbound delivery is getting created, and using that outbound delivery, picking will happen, and the goods issue will happen from EWM, and consumption will happen from EWM, and the same will get replicated to EWM, right? So here you see, for the consumption, a delivery is getting created basically, right? So the delivery is needed, okay, for the consumption. And even for the inbound, even for the good receipts part, you can see that inbound delivery is getting created, and that inbound delivery is getting distributed to EWM, and we are creating a warehouse task, and the good receipt posting is happening, right? So you see there are two documents which are getting created. One is the inbound delivery document, which is for my receiving of the finished goods, and one is my outbound delivery document, which is for my consumption of the stock which is available in the PSA, right? So this is the flow which was introduced in 1909. But going forward, this is now improved. Okay, now we have, after 2020, I believe, we have a concept called as synchronous goods movement. Okay, synchronous goods movement posting. Now, what does it mean? Okay, let's look into that. So now you will see that the flow diagram is much simpler. There are no delivery documents getting created at all, right? So we can achieve this process, or let's try to first understand this process. Okay, so here you can see that production order is getting created and getting confirmed in S4, right? Then after I confirm my production order, you see straight away a stock is getting decreased and increased in a same material document. So my components, my raw materials, which was available, okay, in the PSA is automatically decreased, right? Let's say it's a backflush material, so it's decreased automatically, and my finished good is also increased automatically. There are no delivery documents created at all here. You can see. So basically, what I'm trying to explain over here is, the moment I confirm my production order, my inventory gets updated immediately at the same time in both S4 and in EWM, right? So there is no delay now. So there are no documents getting created now. It gets immediately available. The stock gets adjusted, or the stock gets received or reduced immediately in both the systems at the same time, right? So this process, or this functionality, we can achieve by activating the synchronous goods movement in confirmations for discrete and process manufacturing. Okay, so this process is very important, and it has made a lot of customers happy, right? Because now you see a lot of things are getting simpler now. No more deliveries are needed to do the GR, and no more deliveries are needed to do the consumption. Okay, so with this feature, you have an automatic posting of good receipts and consumption for discrete manufacturing and the process manufacturing, right? And only important point you need to understand over here is that this process, okay, of synchronous goods movement posting is possible only in embedded EWM. If you are using a decentralized EWM, then this process may not be applicable. You may not able to use this synchronous goods movement. Okay. Then another important point over here is the system can post the good receipts and the backflush consumptions together, as I said, right? So both the things are happening together. I don't have to now rely on this flow. I don't have to now rely on my inbound deliveries, my task creations, my good receipts, my outbound delivery and goods issue of outbound delivery and all that. Everything is happening together in one particular material document. Okay. So that is the advantage, and this is the process which we are going to see also now in a system, right? Okay, system demo. Now let's go into a system and let's try to understand this process in more details. Okay, so let me go into a system and let's try to test this synchronous goods movement, how it works. Okay, so obviously I have some data ready. Okay, but so what I'll do, I'll first explain how this process works. I'll create a production order and I will show you after I confirm the production order, what are the things happening. And then I'll also try to explain the prerequisites, like what were the prerequisites, okay, which I had to activate or I have to maintain to make this process work. Okay, so let me create a production order first. Okay, so I'll go to production order creation. I'll just copy any one of my previous production orders. Okay, let me copy the production order. Okay, so let me give some dates. Okay, so what I'm trying to do over here is I'm creating a production order for my finished goods. Okay, this is my finished product, right? And if I go and show you the component, so this is my component, right? This is my raw material, which I will need, okay, to produce my finished goods, right? An important thing over here to notice is that this particular component is backflushed, okay? So the moment I confirm my production order, and if this particular product is already available in my PSA, then the consumption will happen immediately, right? Consumption should happen immediately, right? Because it is a backflushed. I will not have to go and manually consume this, right? So this is my production order. Okay. Now, yeah. Now let me save this production order. Okay. You will receive some costing issues and all that, but we are not really bothering about that. So I've created a production order, right? Now let me release this production order. Okay, so now since this is a demo, right, and this is a testing system, so obviously, okay, I will not have many operations in my production order. I have only one operation, okay, in my production order. So what I'll do now, I'll confirm my production order for this particular operation, right? So what is the expectation after I confirm my production order? This is my expectation, right? The stock should get decreased. The consumption should happen for the raw material, and the good receipt should happen for my finished goods. So a material document should get posted, okay, with two postings, 101 movement type and 261 movement type. Parallelly, it should also create a task in EWM, okay, for the good receipt postings and the goods issue postings, right? So let's see how it works. Okay, so I have a production order now. So I will go and confirm this production order. Okay, so I give my production order number over here. Yeah, so as I said, I have only one operation, right? So I'm just confirming that operation over here, right? So what I'll do, I'll simply save this. Okay, so in the background, because of all my synchronous goods movement postings and all other prerequisite settings, now it is trying to do some magic, right? So here at the bottom, you see that goods movements are posted. So two goods movement are posted. So what are these goods movements? Let's try to check it. Okay, so I go to my CO03 transaction code. Okay, so here now, if I go to documented goods movement, okay, so here you see that material document is posted, but you see only one material document is posted with two different items. Let's open this material document and try to understand what system has done, right? So for the finished product, okay, so this is my finished product. For my finished product, you see what system has done. It has done the 101 movement type. So it has increased the stock in my S4 because 101 is posted, right? Parallelly, what it has also done, if you see that this warehouse management tab is now available. Now here, you see what it has done. It has also created a task, okay, in the EWM system automatically, right? So what, and also it has created a warehouse document, okay, in the EWM. Now, what is this warehouse document? Let's look into this. Then we will go and look into the task. Okay, so this warehouse document, okay, basically, if I show you this 5, okay, the category basically, right? So you see that this particular warehouse task or a warehouse document is posted with the category of 5. So what it has done basically, it has posted the good receipt in EWM system, right? It has posted a good receipt in EWM system, and also what it has done, it has created a task in EWM system. What is that category? Okay, so the category over here, okay, no, this is for the backflushing, sorry. Yeah, so we'll come to that later. But for the good receipt part, what it has done, it has posted the good receipt with the category as 5. Then parallelly, what it has also done, it has created the task. Okay, so what is this task? If I go and show you, this task is my put away task. Okay, because when we receive the goods, we receive it in the GR zone, right, of the production. Then from GR zone of the production, we have to move it to the final put away bin, right? So I told, right, in our flow, we saw that you see that warehouse task for the good receipt posting and the goods, everything happens automatically. So I didn't have to do anything manually, right? So it has posted the stock in EWM in GR zone area. Parallelly, it has also created my task to move it to my this final put away area, right? Now this task is open. I can also have an automation here. I can say that, okay, the task can also get confirmed immediately. So that is also possible. But generally, we keep the task open because let user move the pallets or the handling unit to the final destination bin, and then they confirm it, right? So that's why we generally keep this task open. But the task creation is automatic, right? So that is what has happened, okay, for my 101 movement type, right? So two things it has done. It has posted the goods in EWM, right? And also it has created the put away task. Okay. Second thing, what it has done. So the finished goods is clear. Second is raw material, right? So the prerequisite for this is the stock has to be available in PSA. Now, in my case, the stock was already available in the PSA. So that's why what system has done, you can see here, it has directly consumed the stock from this PSA bin, right? So if I show you this warehouse document, Okay. If I show you this warehouse document, it has posted the goods issue. Okay. Let me show you this one. Let me go to the form view. Yeah, so here you see that this is a warehouse document category 6, that is a goods issue posting, right? So what it has done, it has directly consumed the goods from where? It has consumed the goods from my PSA bin, okay? Because the stock was already available. And why we could achieve this? Because my production order said that this particular component is a backflushed component, okay? So that's why I was able to consume the stock immediately the moment I confirm my production order, right? So you see how easy it is, how simple it is. No need to create any outbound deliveries, inbound deliveries, no need to create any tasks manually, nothing. I simply confirm my production order, and in the background system is doing all its magic, right, for both finished product and the raw material. Okay, so this is how my synchronous goods movement posting works. Okay, now let me just show you. Of course, there are a lot of things which we need to do, okay, to make sure this works. But let me just try to give some basic understanding, okay, that how we can activate this synchronous goods movement posting, right? So first and foremost important thing over here is, right, the activation point I will tell you. Okay, then other details we may discuss later, or we may we'll have to go in complete details. But the most important thing which you should know, okay, which is actually triggering this, okay, synchronous goods movement, what is that? Okay, so the important thing over here is, right, if I go and show you in the interfaces, okay, in interfaces we have the ERP integration. In ERP integration we have the goods movement, and in goods movement we have this activate synchronous goods movement posting, right? And here we need to activate the synchronous goods movement posting. So you see here we have activated it, right? So this is the first prerequisite. Now, second prerequisite is we also need to activate the synchronous goods movement posting at the production level, right? This is at the warehouse level. But I also need to tell to a system that for it should work for my production process, right? So I need to have a dedicated production scheduling profile, right? And in that production scheduling profile, I need to give this information to a system, right? So where do we maintain that production scheduling profile? In configuration, if I just show you, yeah. So let me show you the scheduling profile which I created. Okay, so this is the production scheduling profile, right? And here you see that this is important. Post synchronously to the bin, right? And here I'm saying goods receipt and goods issue both, right? So this is important. I need to activate this. Post synchronously to bin should be set to 3. And then this production scheduling profile, I need to assign it to my product master. That is common, right? We know where to assign the production scheduling profile and all that stuff. So that is fine. But I'm just trying to give you the activation points, right? So these are the 2 activation points which you should be aware of, right? And then from master data point of view, also what you need to understand is, for example, let me just open the material document one more time. Okay, sorry. Okay, let me open the material document. So this is my finished goods. So if you see this material document, the warehouse management tab is available, right? And here, this is my the staging bin basically, right? Where I'm actually receiving the goods, GR zone, right? So from where system is taking this, how system understands, right? From where I should move the product. I mean, where I should first receive the product, and then once the task is created, then which is my source bin. So this is my source, and then finally it will move to some put away area, right? So how system knows this? So it is known by a system because we have created the production version basically, right? So we have a concept of production version, right? In that production version we need to maintain this information. Okay, so where do we do that? Let me check. Yeah, sorry, not for the raw material. Yeah. So here, this is the production version, which I maintain. And in this production version, I need to give the bin information. Then only system will understand where I need to do the GR and from where I need to move the goods to my final put away area. Right. So these are a few of the prerequisite settings, right, which I have just tried to explain. There are a few more, lot more, I would say, but let's not go into the details. The main motive of this webinar was to just show you the process, just so that you understand that we have this functionality and how it is advantageous as compared to other processes, and then you can make use of this in your real-time scenarios, right? So yeah, I think from demo point of view, that is what I wanted to explain. So we have covered this in 1 hour's time, which is good enough. Now maybe we can take some questions.